You already read the title of the video, you know what's going on today. This is Pai Gow for people who don't know how to play, and maybe a little bit of strategies to Pai Gow. If you don't know what Pai Gow is, it's a game where you start off by making your ante-bet, and then 7 cards are dealt out to you as such. Let's say this is what is dealt to you. This obviously isn't very good. Well, if you didn't know that, if you didn't know, it's not good at all. So the gist is to make the bet a good 2-card hand and a good 5-card hand and try to beat the dealer, which you can't see until you lay out yours. And the rule is that this 2-card hand cannot be better than the 5-card hand. The 5-card hand must beat the 2-card hand. So if, for example, you had ace high in a 2-card hand, that'd be impossible. That wouldn't be possible because you need ace high as well or a pair in order to be higher than this. But king 10 would work because then you have ace high in this hand. So that's how it works. Ignore my neighbor's satanic dog. So I'm going to be using these cards. Now, there are 2 side bets. It's not just the play bet or the ante bet. There's also fortune, which is, I'm pretty sure, a hand that's straight or better. And then insurance, which is where you have nothing to get at all, where you have no flush, no pair, no way to make a good hand besides high card. It's only a high card. And it'd be called, for example, if you had ace high for all 7 cards, it'd be called ace high Pai Gow. Now, let's just say you're betting right here on the ante bet. 7 cards will be dealt to you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Boom. Dealer would get their 7 cards. At this point, you would take a look at your 7 cards, which you have. You have 3 5s, 2 3s, a 7, and a king. At this point, you might be like, okay, take the 7 and the king out. Full house. That's what you might think. But you're probably going to want to take the pair of 3s out, lay them all out here. So then you have a pretty good 2-card hand. The 2-card hand is going to be like an absolute maximum of pair. The absolute maximum is ace pair. And right here, you have 3 of a kind, like so. Dealer would take their cards and then make a hand as well. Here's how payouts work. Boom, 10-7, and then king high. At this point, you would be paid because both your hands, the 5-card and the 2-card, have beat the dealer. You would be paid. But let's say the dealer had the pair of 3s and you had the 10 and 7 instead. No. Because then you'd switch, whatever. Let's just say, okay, this would obviously be a loss to the dealer's pair. But the 3 of a kind laid out right here beats the high card. At that point, it'd be a push. Now, if the dealer had the 3 of a kind, and you had the king high, and the dealer had the pair of 3s, you had 10 high. At this point, you would lose your money because both your hands lose to the dealer. Basically, two losses equals no money. And then a loss and a win equals a push. And then 2 wins equals a pay. And that's how Pai Gow works. What I would recommend doing is doing pretty good bets on the ante, and you do small bets on fortune and the insurance. I'm not meaning like the absolute minimum for them, but I'm meaning like just smaller bets, and to try not to get higher than this. To try not to get higher than your ante bet. I feel like it would be better to do it this way, because if you lose these, you also get them back with 1 chip if you also win the ante bet. But if you have more on fortune than these two combined, for example, then if you just lost the fortune bet and then the insurance bet, you only get the ante bet. You're making negative. You might be thinking, oh, but I'm feeling lucky. What if I'm feeling lucky and I want to make big bets on the fortune? Still, feeling lucky or not, remember, the house always wins. That's how the casinos make their money. Oh, and by the way, fortune. Here, let me make a hand that would be good for fortune pay. Right here. 7 cards laid out right here. Full house, pair of aces, and 3 of a kind for kings. Now, even though, let's say you took the pair out and made it this, stuttering a little bit. 3 of a kind kings and then pair of ace. It would still be put together to win the fortune bet to make a full house. Now, insurance. I would recommend some insurance, because if you get a loss, a really bad loss, the insurance could help you pay up with that, break even maybe. Like this hand right here, Queen 5, King Ace 6 2 7. That is really bad. You can't make a pair, and with these at least, you can't make a flush or a straight either. This is a really bad hand. At this point, you would take the king and the queen out. Let's say you lost the ante bet. You would win your insurance bet because you had ace high Pai Gow. That's why I always recommend the insurance bet, just in case you get a loss. And that's how Pai Gow works. Real quick, gonna run one more round. Like such. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cards would be passed over to you if you were, of course, a player. Let's say they made $4. They put in $4 and 1 on insurance and 1 on fortune. Now, I'm going to make a hand. Like that. And I'm going to make a dealer hand. Like that. Running one more to make sure you kind of get the gist of Pai Gow. The player's cards would be revealed. Look at that. Pair of kings for the 5-card hand. And then you have pair of 7s for the 2-card hand. Dealer flips over. Pair of 2s for the 2-card hand. Pair of 7s would be pair of 2s. And then pair of 5s for the 5-card hand. Pair of kings would be pair of 5s, in which you would win your ante bet like that. And you would unfortunately lose your fortune and insurance bet because you could make something a pair. You could make a pair or higher. And you would lose the fortune bet because, unfortunately, it's not a straight. There's no straight involved, so you lose the fortune bet. And there you go. That's how Pai Gow works. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I will explain. And the next up, we're going to do another card game, of course. Cards are my favorite, but that's going to be a different video. Gotta go watch that. See ya.